clemency to a pastor and his two followers who were jailed during the lockdown period for flouting the restrictions imposed by the president. The NDC flag bearer, who was speaking during an interaction with Christian leaders in the northern region capital Tamale during his recent visit, observed that the imposition of the COVID-19 restrictions was necessary to help fight the surge in infections and keep the country safe. He also noted that some of the decisions and outcomes arising from the imposition of the restrictions have not been pleasant. We've been joined now by Deputy Information Minister Pius Hatide for a reaction to this call from the former president. Thank you for joining the show this morning. What's your reaction to this call, sir? If you can, kindly unmute your video. Sorry, we can't hear you.
Hello?
Great. We can hear you now, says. The former president is asking the president and by extension your government to have mercy on the pastor and his followers who flouted some restrictions. So kindly let us know what your reaction to that is.
Well, thank you very much. Good morning to you and to our cherished viewers. Let me begin by saying that it is worthy of note that the restrictions that were imposed by Parliament on the prompting of His Excellency the President have been commended by all and sundry as necessary in our efforts to confront and combat the coronavirus pandemic. In fact, the fact that Ghana performs creditably as far as the fight against COVID-19 is concerned, the restrictions largely also have played a meaningful role in that effort, and it is worthwhile that it is being commended by all and sundry, including even the opposition leader, Mr. John Dramani Mahama. As of this morning, I am not advised that the office of His Excellency the President has been seized with any appeal from any quarters, that is from the office of the former president himself or from members of the clergy to whom the former president was speaking. I can assure you that as and when any such appeal is received by the president's office, due consideration shall be given to that appeal.
Mr. Hatide, are you saying that the appeal that he's made now in the open is not enough? You're expecting something written, official?
It is my understanding that he rather appealed to the religious leaders to make the appeal. That's my understanding of what he said in Tamale. And I am saying that I am not advised that as of this moment, the religious leaders themselves have made any such appeal to His Excellency the President. When that is done, like the President does all the time, he will consider and he will communicate his decision to the persons who may have made the appeal.
Okay, but looking at the restrictions and incidents that have occurred over the time, we've had people flout the rules. One clear example is the former Deputy Minister, Carlos Ahinkra, who had to resign as a result of that brouhaha that occurred after he visited a center having tested positive. Many have said, well, the president should have taken action, or not even on the president, but the authorities mandated the police should have taken action like they did with this pastor and his followers. With regards to that and other incidents that have occurred, does the president have a reaction to those calls that have come?
We continue to make those same calls that the law enforcement agencies, should they be convinced that there has been a breach in any of the laws, should need to take the necessary actions. In my view, the former Deputy Minister, Member of Parliament for the good people of the Tema West constituency, Honorable Carlos Ahinkra, conducted himself, exercised great indiscretion, if you ask me, and in the view of His Excellency the President, his decision to resign because he had not set a good enough example, and that he acted and exercised indiscretion, His Excellency the President decided to accept his resignation. And I think that even as we discuss this, the example of public officers who, having admitted that they acted with indiscretion and may not have set good examples, proceed to resign, a worthy example that are worthy of commendation. These are not, this is not something that is very, if you may, rampant in our culture. And so I think that having realized that an exercise of great indiscretion had occurred, the gentleman in question paid the high price of deciding to resign from the office of Deputy Minister. And that decision was duly accepted by His Excellency the President. Having said that, we all continue to encourage law enforcement when they do have evidence that there are breaches of relevant laws, they must continue to act. I'm not too sure what specific legal reference we will be making in the specific matter of Honorable Carlos Ahenkra relative to the restrictions. But even if there existed any, it is for the law enforcement agencies to act on it.
Thank you very much for your time this morning. Pius Hatiday's Deputy Information Minister, reacting to that call by former President Mahama for clemency for the pastor and his followers who've been jailed for 4 years for flouting COVID-19 restrictions. Away from that, 4 children escaped death when a device they were playing with near the seashore turned out to be an explosive. The children sustained several